So Leon Edwards, how's he gonna do it again? Can he do it again?
He clips him behind the head. That's it.
Can he defeat this juggernaut, massive Nigerian for a second time? Honestly, I was surprised he was able to do it the first time. Well, technically that was the second time and this is the third time. But I was very surprised that he was able to get that head kick off and that Usman would make such a grave failure in his blocking system. Now we'll talk about what Usman did wrong later on. Right now I want to focus on Leon's strategy, how he was able to win that last fight and how he may be able to put those same tools and acquire maybe some new ones into building a strategy to beat him again. Okay, so first fight, he was doing well, first round, right? He got a takedown. It came from where? Where did the takedown come from? Judo. Crazy how much judo is in MMA. Once you start studying it, it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? So he got Kusotogari from the body lock. And then for some reason after that, proceeded to shoot doubles predominantly and just got shut down by Usman. He's not gonna win a grappling battle with Usman. Very, very unlikely he's able to win a grappling battle with Usman. What he can do though is win the striking fight again. There's a few keys that he was using in order to do well last time. He was switching stances, we've talked about this a few times, back from southpaw to orthodox, open stance to closed stance. That allows him to bypass Usman's main striking weapon, which is his jab. The jab really works well in a closed stance, righty-righty. Against a lefty, if you're fighting a lefty and you're really trying to jab him, you're just gonna get hit with left hands, okay? The guy's gonna slip out the outside and bang down the center with the left hand. Usman wasn't all that effective striking until he got him on the wall. We gotta stay off the wall. If I'm Leon Edwards, I'm doing hella work to make sure my footwork patterns are gonna keep me away from this situation. Back on the fence, breached the distance where he's able to throw heavy combinations, okay? He's using the collar tie sometimes. A lot of the times, he's just opening up with heavy shots. There's a few things that he can do that. He's switching stances, but he's switching stances like this. Okay, forward and back without really any angle change. I would say to switch stances from here to over here and to utilize the pivot. Okay, now especially in open stance, it's really important to utilize the pivot in order to keep your back off the wall, right? The guy's fighting me like this, okay, he's coming at me. I can just go step, turn, and turn about a 45 or 90 degree turn, and it gives me a huge amount of time to either throw weapons at him or move further away and circle back into the center of the octagon. Now I feel like if he's able to keep his back off the wall, it'll be a whole lot easier for him to win the striking fight. Also, the grappling will be way easier because Usman doesn't really care if he takes you down. At least that's what I see from looking at it. He doesn't really care. All he wants to make sure is that he gets you onto the fence and smashes you there. So he'll shoot doubles for sure, he'll shoot singles, but then if there's any resistance, he just comes up to the body lock. If you're able to defend the situation in which you get placed here, him coming up to the body lock is going to be way harder for him to hang on to because he doesn't have anything to smash you against. Now, the main grappling entanglement that he is using, yes, body lock, but what is that determined by? The underhook, right? One arm under the opponent's arm. Now, most of his stuff comes off underhook. He will just hold you there and beat the body and hit the head and body and then go for a takedown. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, just smash the body, stomp the feet, take your back, knee your butt, stomp the feet. I really like foot stomps. I also really like the knee to the butt from the backside body lock. Super, super useful and almost indefensible. Like the guy can't do anything about it. You're behind him. Super smart. Also really annoying, and it can be defeating to your opponent. And this is something that we saw in Leon Edwards. As the fight was progressing, his mind started to deteriorate, and we could see it through his body language, unless he was just tricking all of us. And he was doing that on purpose, like acting it in order to set up that nuts head kick. That might have happened. I don't know. Nobody will know but Leon, and he might lie about it, so don't believe him. Regardless, he needs to make sure his inner speech is controlled the whole time and he's focused on the present. Okay, if you want to know a little bit more about how to be on the day and keep your mind strong no matter what happens within the fight, within the battle, we're gonna release a video on that very soon. So look out for that. Now, in order to make sure that he is not just getting smashed on the wall the whole time, he needs to have a solid plan for the underhook. Okay, now there's a few different defenses you can do. Okay, you can push the face and pummel your arm in. Okay, you can push the body and bring it down to like a collar tie type grip, bringing it into a tie clinch type situation, exiting out. Okay, there's a few different ways you can defend the underhook successfully, even with your back on the wall. And he needs to work heavily on this, because if you give Usman an underhook, man, it's gonna be a long night. We also saw that Leon's gas tank was not the greatest versus Usman. Why is that? He said he was training at altitude, or he acclimated to altitude. He was in an altitude tent to sleep in for a lot of his camp. Like, it wasn't the altitude. So what was it? It was the pressure. Now, people think pressure is only the person's pressing forward. Okay, it costs a little bit more energy to move around the outside. But I don't think that was really it. I think that a lot of it is happening when Usman is in grips. Okay, because he just leans on you. Like, he doesn't try to take you down the whole time. He's just leaning on you and wearing on you, wearing you down, wearing you down, wearing you down, until something opens up or nothing opens up and he just wins a decision. Like, guy wins a lot of decisions. So what does Leon have that Usman doesn't have? He has good punching, right? But Usman has good punching. Right now we talk about kicks a lot. Usman's kicks are terrible. And Leon obviously has great kicks. But it's more than just kicks. Usman does not use his legs. He doesn't use them as arms in any way. And Leon Edwards uses his legs. He uses his legs to knee. Okay, he uses his legs to teep and round kick, side kick. He also uses his legs in takedowns. Yes, judo. The first takedown he got, we talked about already, double underhooks, and then outside leg hook, or kasotogari, and whoosh, down he goes, straight into mount. If you're able to do that once, why can't you do that again? Sure, some element of surprise, but there's multiple types of attacks that you have with those entanglements. If Kasoto doesn't work, there's going to be other attacks that will become available to you. And I feel like he needs to employ this strategy. He can't just concede that he's going to be the striker and Usman's going to be the grappler, because that's going to be a long night. That's going to be way too much work for him. If Leon Edwards gets taken down, which he will, one thing that we saw him do in the first fight that he was almost successful in, that he did not do in the second fight, was attack off his back. Okay, now obviously we want to get back to our feet. If we're on the ground, we don't want to be on the bottom. We want to be on our feet or on top. Solely focusing on standing up with some super heavy welterweight on top of you is a tall order, right? For anybody, Leon Edwards included. In their second fight, this is all he did. He didn't really attack any submissions. He just was like, okay, I'm getting back up. You took me down, I'm gonna get back up. 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 I'm gonna get, like, it's gonna start wearing on you. You're just picking this massive dude up over and over and over again. Whereas if you attack with a submission that is going to force the person to take their weight off of you, this is things I've said before, take their weight off of you, now we can attack with leg locks and they take more weight off of you because they need to run away from the leg lock or try to spin to defend it. You're going to be able to get top position or get back to your feet or get their back. But Leon didn't use his guard. First fight he did, he almost had a triangle. He had it super close to being locked. And if he was just able to like grab his shin and change the angle a little bit, he would have been able to lock his legs up, but he didn't. Now, I don't know why he didn't go back to that tactic in the second fight. Maybe he didn't believe that it was going to work. It failed the first time, so why are you going to try it a second time? A lot of times submissions fail the first time. Sometimes they fail the second time, third time, fourth time, but you don't need to get the submission. You just need to create motion. And this is a huge part of this. If Leon Edwards can just continue the momentum, to just keep things moving, it doesn't really even matter which specific attacks he's using on the ground. He needs to keep Usman off balance. So he's trying to focus on catching his balance, focusing on getting a hold of and on top of this squirmy dude. Now the guy's gonna have to be wasting energy. He's gonna have to be using energy. If you just like get taken down and are like, ugh, and then are slowly getting to butt scoot position and slowly trying to stand up, there's just leaning on you. He's just stabilized and anchored in place, really solidified in his position in a balanced way where he doesn't have to expend energy. He's just gonna use gravity to lay on you and hit you with shots. Obviously, he's gonna punch you in the head. He doesn't have too many submission threats. I'm not really sure why. It's unfortunate. He'd be great at things like head and arms and Darce chokes and things like that. Regardless, if you're able to keep a big man like that, having to catch his balance and focus on controlling you instead of stabilizing and focusing on attacking you, okay, it's gonna be a whole lot less work. It's definitely work. You still have to work, but it's way less work than somebody solidified on top of you in a balanced way where they're able to just lean on you. And then you got to go and create motion from that. You're trying to use huge amounts of energy to bridge or push and create motion that then you can continue until you get to your feet. No matter what, you got to continue the momentum. Don't let it solidify in the first place. Keep the guy off balance. Keep them working in between different submission threats until you're able to find enough space to get back to your feet, get on top, or actually finish something. So the last little piece to this puzzle, and this is going back to the striking entanglements or striking situations, we need high volume. Like obviously it's gonna be difficult to have high volume attacks for 25 minutes with a guy that pressures as much as Usman. It's gonna be hard, but you know what's harder? Having a low volume attack, because now he's able to pressure you, get you against the fence, get you to the ground, stabilize. Long night, man, long night, too much work. You have to keep the guy thinking. You have to keep the guy guessing. You have to constantly busy his brain with technique, no matter whether or not it's landing. I don't even care. Call this like a smoke screen, okay, where I'm throwing stuff, bop, 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 like constantly throwing things at the guy so his brain has to process. He can't just be like, okay, I'm just gonna move in, I'm gonna move in, okay, there's the right hand, gonna move in, oh, double jab, right hand, right? He's constantly like, oh, damn, oh, question mark kick, oh, what, a hook kick, what the hell was that thing? Oh, where's that coming from? What is this pattern? Oh, I wanna shoot, but oh, the kicks are coming up, the knees are coming in. Like, he's gotta be thinking, he's gotta be thinking. And if you don't busy his brain, he's just pressing on you. And that is so much more work than even throwing that many techniques at that frequency for 25 minutes. This is Leon's job. You gotta do this. Continue momentum, high volume attack, movement on the outside. Okay, if you can, press the guy back, but if you can't, move. And please, you're a southpaw. Move predominantly to your right. Don't move this way. Okay, move this way. Get to the outside foot position. Fire your left hand, fire your left kick. Okay, set up the body, go to the head later. Maybe it'll work again. You never know. There's no reason why it wouldn't, other than he's gonna expect it. But that doesn't always matter. Okay, now if you wanna know who I actually think is gonna win this fight, okay, and I don't think it's as clear as some people think it is, stay tuned. If you can think of anything that I haven't already thought of, okay, if you have any ideas, drop a comment. If you like the content, drop a like. If you really like the content, hit that subscribe button, man. We need you guys. Peace. I love you.